Jay Boogie in the building. Oh man.
Hey,
Jay Boogie, you gotta go live and put some knowledge out there, bro.
Thank you, Jay Boogie, for this wonderful scope.
Jay Boogie in the building. Oh man.
Hey,
Jay Boogie, you gotta go live and put some knowledge out there, bro.
Thank you, Jay Boogie, for this wonderful scope.
Jay Boogie in the building. Oh man.
Hey,
Jay Boogie, you gotta go live and put some knowledge out there, bro.
Thank you, Jay Boogie, for this wonderful scope.
Jay Boogie in the building. Oh man.
Jay Boogie, you just make me want to lift every voice and sing till earth and...
All right, so there you got it. That is the show intro. The show intro for Lift Every Voice. The Boogie Show.
Brother Jamal here, aka Jay Boogie. YouTube community, man, I haven't been on here forever, but I'm glad and excited to be back. We've got some businesses on hand right now concerning a so-called 80 West situation, and I think it's a good time to dust off this old channel that I've had on YouTube for a while. I want to give a quick shout out to Soul Traveler for basically enticing me to come back, because again, I was on other platforms, really, Periscope and platforms that have the blockchain as an infrastructure. And the reason I've been using those platforms is because the blockchain, makes it possible that there'll be less censorship, because we're dealing with a lot of censorship right now, definitely on YouTube and social media wide. The mainstream, I guess, media, they had to catch up with us, For those of you that don't know who I am, again, I'm Brother Jamal. I've been on social media putting out content for a while. Some already know me. As you can see, that was my little intro there. Those are some of the people that know about me and the type of work I put out there. So I'm still working on the little formats and things like that. And yeah, quick shout out to Soul Traveler again, because I'm using this screen recorder, and it's really cool because I can just go through, and talk about the stuff I want to talk about real quickly. As you can see, I'm kind of rushing because I don't want to, spend too much time, because there's a lot to cover too as well, and I'm a little long-winded, so I'm learning how to make quick videos. So I said a whole lot, man. I hope y'all caught all of that. Maybe y'all gonna have to rewind, but yeah, I'm that fast talking New York dude, you know what I'm saying, out of Brooklyn, and excuse the little accent or whatever, but that's just the way we speak out here, the vernacular, so real quick, right, we're dealing with this Fraud Abba dude right here. And again, this ties into the whole ADOS thing, which is the reason why I'm back on YouTube discussing this matter. My platform, everybody that knows me from other platforms, and those of you that are getting to know me now, is basically this. I want our people to take our power back from these, right, fake leaders that, they got us following out here, these groups, right, these movements that are basically not getting us anywhere. So it's about taking our power back and empowering ourselves with knowledge and information. Okay, so that's really a very important part of my platform. And I want people to understand, you're not coming to my, videos or anything like that to get all the answers. If anything, I'm trying to get you, right, to get to a place where you can get the answers yourself for whatever issues that you're trying to resolve. You know, the process is really about empowering you, making you a leader. You understand? That's what I've been doing for a long time. Some people have come to appreciate what I do. As you can see with the intro, which I'm gonna work on that intro and try to format it a little bit better. But I'm not famous or nothing, but people know of me and the type of work and content I've been putting out here. And you know, it's a constant, you know, I guess grind, man. I'm trying to really elevate the kind of stuff I'm putting out there, the way I'm putting it, the presentation. So it's very important, you know, that people see that. And so again, we're gonna talk about this Lord Abba dude, and he's gonna be part of this whole breakdown of the ADOS. And this series I'm gonna call the ADOS CIRCUS series, right? And as you can see here, I got all these clowns, right, that are basically the thought leaders of the ADOS. And then this Lord Abba dude, we're gonna kind of, you know, get into him and break him down today. And as you can see, I'm kind of rushing through it, so most of the information you guys are gonna be able to pick up, but I can't do it in one sitting. You know, I'll do it in, you know, snippets of, you know, videos I drop. And so this channel is gonna be active now. And again, it's a big shout out to brothers that's already on YouTube getting after these ADOS clowns, because, you know, they're out here trying to scoop up people who don't think for themselves. You know, they're trying to get the gullible crowd. And so brothers like me have to step up. I've already, you know, gone and dealt with them on other platforms. I gave them the work, and so I'm gonna start bringing a lot of that information here for the brothers that's on YouTube. Because the thing is, if we work as a unit, right, as a cohesive, you know, group, you know, we can definitely, you know, push back at this stuff, man. And that's very important with my platform, again, because it's about, you know, getting our people to take, you know, our power back. You know what I mean? To think for ourselves, right? We need to empower ourselves, all right? We got to stop, you know, chasing fake leaders, joining these crazy groups that get us locked up, all right? And I have quite a lot of years of experience observing this stuff, man. Years of research. I read every single day. And I just share the information that I've, you know, been learning. That's what I do with all of my platforms, whatever, or at least whatever, you know, social media platform I'm using. That's what I do. And there's really not much else to it. I'm just sharing information, you know, with our community, man, with our people. And for those of you that's not sure what I mean by our people, like, first and foremost, like I told you, I'm American. I live in Brooklyn, and my people basically is our generation, hip hop generation, right? Millennials and up. Basically who consider themselves working or middle class. If you fit into that category, then you're my people, man. That's really what it is. And I'm talking about worldwide, not just here in North America, man. Because hip-hop is global, man. That's our culture. That's our generation's culture. Meaning, if you're a millennial, if you're you know what I'm saying, part of the hip-hop generation, maybe, you know, Generation X, as they call it, then I'm talking to you, all right? And if you're part of the working and middle classes, then yeah, all the information that I'm putting on here is aimed for you to listen to, because we're basically, you know, the ones right now in control. We're in control, or at least we're stepping into the ranks of being in control of what's going on. We're stepping into our prime as a generation. So what legacy are we going to leave behind? You understand? Are we gonna follow and try to be like this dude right here, this Fraud Abba? And we're gonna talk about why he's a clown, why I have him dressed up as a clown. As you can see, I have a few people dressed up as clowns. You see that I have MAGA ADOS. That's gonna be explained. I'm gonna try to catch people up to this stuff because again, I've been putting in work in other social medias, but I haven't really brought it over to YouTube. The thing about YouTube is that so much censorship. You know, they go after people and whatnot, but I'm prepared for it. You know, whatever they throw at me. But at least the content and the information will be out there on YouTube as well. For those of you brothers, you know what I'm saying, coming into contact with it for the first time. And so I can't really break down what ADOS is. At least from the perspective that I want to break it down in one sitting, like I said. So I do encourage people to start looking into it. ADOS, if you don't already know, American Descendants of Slavery, I think. I don't think these guys really want to call themselves slaves. They might say slavery. But my perspective is this. The ADOS movement is basically a PSYOP. You know, it's a psychological operation, a program to basically funnel our people into a nonsensical, divisive group and to make us go at each other for no reason. All right? And that's what these guys have been doing. You could tell that, you know, that they're xenophobic. They're definitely self-hating, right? Divisive. I mean, these are the things that I've observed since the first time I came into contact with these dudes. And I came into contact with them way back in 2016. And it's sad to see how they've evolved. You know what I'm saying? They're basically like a hate cult, man. You know, they've turned into something that's really disgusting. But nobody's like really, there's only a few people stepping up. A lot of people are kind of afraid. But brothers like myself who do research and who read a lot, you know, we are basically armed with information that, you know, can help, you know, the rest of, I guess, society understand what's really going on. And like I said, it's a PSYOP, you know what I mean? And whatever they say, whatever they claim that they're about, trust me, it's something else going on. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into what PSYOP, you know, means. We're going to get into, you know, consensus, what consensus means. We're gonna get into just programming. Like, we're gonna break that down and how it relates to ADOS. All right. But first, let's look at this dude, Lord Abba, right? Because he's out here trying to be a thought leader for the ADOS, right? He's trying to put content out there where he's actually pushing this movement as if something that we need to adapt as a people. All right, so we're gonna get into him a little bit. Let's go to his channel, his YouTube channel, right? It's called Lord Abba TV, and if you scroll down, you start seeing a lot of the, you know, mentions of ADOS. He mentions ADOS a lot. He's talking about reparations, and that's the thing. A lot of the mistake that I'm seeing is that our people are starting to attach themselves to this movement without thinking. How do you attach yourself to something that I consider, again, a PSYOP? But really, when I say a PSYOP, it's like we're being given a generic identity. That's really one of the main things I want to have people understand. ADOS is a generic counterfeit identity. All right? Your history did not start on no plantation. Okay? Our history as a people did not start as no slaves. Do you understand? So to now, you know, attach yourself, right, to something like, and try to treat it as though it's an ethnic group or a lineage, is one of the biggest mistakes that our people can make. All right, and these guys want to compare themselves to the Jews or so-called Jews or whatever. But you see, with the Jews, you're talking about a comprehensive culture here. Okay, they've been through they'll tell you they've been through slavery as well. There was a time where they were in bondage, right, as they say, right, in Egypt, but they don't identify, or they don't create an identity based off of what? Being in bondage like that. You see? They have a more holistic and comprehensive identity, which encompasses a whole lot. Okay? A whole lot more than just some experience. And so, see, that's a little, I know I'm getting a little bit philosophical here, but I'm encouraging people to now investigate this stuff and to, to actively think about it. How do you just take this little hashtag that was created, all right, just hatched up in the Twitter sphere, and then all of a sudden you throwing it on like it's a new jacket, and then you're going around expecting people to identify you or call you as that. No, that's not who we are. So that's the first thing, and it's very important. That's how psyops work. They like to get people, right, to join into things that really have no relation to them. And obviously there's a reason behind that. There's exploitation, or there's exploitative reasonings behind that, and programming reasoning behind that. All right, these are all things I want people to start thinking about. I'm spitting a lot of information, I know, but I'm doing this in solidarity of everybody else, the conscious people that's investigating this thing and pushing back at these dudes. And we're gonna do it right, nice and easy. We're gonna break them down with science. We're gonna break them down with knowledge. I don't like to debate. I'm just gonna come to the table and put the facts out there, right? It's either take it or leave it, but it's gonna be so clear and so irrefutable that I don't even want to see anybody try to wiggle out of it. There's no loopholes when I put out the information. All right? So again, it's a psyop. All right? ADOS is a counterfeit generic identity that our people should never attach themselves to something like this. And it has what? Programming reasons. It's a way to program us into something that we're not. All right? And it's very likely because they want to exploit us down the road. All right, there's so much literature on this. There's so much I can pull out, resources of instances where this has happened. Okay, but I want our people to open our eyes right now. All right, our brother, Soul Traveler, I don't know if he's on here right now. If he's watching, again, quick shout outs to you. Drop a comment in the section. I want people to follow him because, we're trying to build a coalition, man. All right, because these dudes, the way psyops work is if they can get us in isolation, then they can do their work. But if we work as a coalition, we could definitely knock these jokers off the, off the box. All right, so let's first take this dude out right here, this joker, this clown. We're gonna take. I'm gonna walk everybody through this real easy, and I'm gonna show y'all how to get these dudes out of the paint. All right, they talk about how they gonna come after us who don't buy into their stuff. If we don't subscribe to them, they start calling us names. They start doing all of this. But we're gonna get them out of the paint right away. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. First one we're gonna take down is this Fraud Abba, Abracadabra, Abadabba dude. All right. You see this dude? Look at his channel, right? I'm gonna start scrolling down, and you see this? He's over here talking about ADOS, so he's already identified himself with this thing.
Peace, greetings to you all.
Right,
It's your
so
brother Sheekway L, AK.
He's considering himself to be that thing, that creation, right? That Frankenstein creation that was created somewhere, not really from our people, because the so-called co-founder, right? I have her in a clown suit as well. Yvette Carnell. All right. She's not really of our community. She does not really represent us, right? She's this, so-called queer, chick, right? She doesn't even as a queer, she doesn't even date people of her own race, so to speak. She's mixed race herself. I mean, we're talking about outliers here. People who are not even, a good 10% or 15% of our population. And she's a co-founder or co-creator of this group, #ADOS. And it's designed for us to now adapt and say that's who we are. All right. So you got to see the kind of psychological thing that's going on here. All right. We have somebody who really does not represent us as a people. All right. On a grand scale. All right. As in terms of majority, she's a minority, if anything. And then she's crafted this identity for all of us to kind of fit into. Do you understand? And then here comes this Lord Fraud Abba dude. And as you can see, he's talking about ADOS.
A.K.A. Mr.
He's pushing
Just
that. Let's
Fact.
skip through this real fast and hear what
But
he's
those
saying.
days are now over.
Let's see here how he's talking.
What the ADOS advocacy group has done has forced us to open our eyes.
So he's talking, running his mouth.
Boys,
I'm not going to play that whole thing. I just want people to see how he's really pushing in behind this thing. But let's do this. Let's look at some of the videos that he's done in the past. And look, this dude actually has a fez on. All right? So that means he was part of what? Morris Science Temple. So if he was part of that community, right? If he wasn't just an infiltrator or an agent, and he really studied over there and, got the knowledge, because I studied their stuff. I studied pretty much as much of the movements that our people was involved in, especially in the last century. I think our people should do that. We should look into these movements and learn their ideologies and doctrines. You know what I'm saying? We need to be well versed on those things. Okay, I'm not saying necessarily join them, but do the knowledge on them. You know what I'm saying? Do the research. Make sure you're not, confused as to what they know, or at least what they believe. You know what I'm saying? We got to study the Nation of Islam. We got to study the Moorish Science Temple. We got to study the Nubian Nation. We got to study the 5% Nation. We got to study the Hebrew Israelite brothers. We got to study and be sound and be very familiar and knowledgeable on their doctrines. That we got to do that as a people. Do you understand? You don't necessarily have to, like I said, join them, but you gotta make sure no one else can tell you anything unless you've already researched it yourself and aware of it. And so that's what I've done. You know what I'm saying? I've looked into all these movements, especially in New York. You come across and you run into these brothers and sisters, all right, because New York is so diverse and there's so many of our people here, and you just can't help but run into these brothers and sisters. They could be on the corners like the Hebrew Israelite brothers or the Nubian brothers. They could have their tables out, all right? They can have their literature. Like, I spent a lot of my years just looking into, their literature and studying it, man. And so I'm seeing this dude, and I saw him like a few years back, popping in and out of the Moorish community, trying to, run his mouth. But later on, he was basically just, discovered to be a fraud. Like, he didn't really know what he was doing. If anything, this Lord Abba dude, he's actually a clout chaser. You know what I'm saying? Always trying to debate. And that's the thing, man. Don't debate your science, man. It's one thing I don't do. I don't debate my science. And anybody who's always trying to debate, who's always trying to get into this back and forth, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to facts and information, you can't really trust them, man. You can't really trust them. All right? Usually it's not really debate that they're interested in. They're interested in dialectics. And I'm actually, I would want our people to look into what dialectics is as opposed to debating. Because a lot of these dudes don't even know what debating is. What they engage in is dialectics. It's something totally different. A lot of people don't even aren't even familiar with what that is. I could do a whole show on that, but you know, who has the time for right now? I just want to cover this whole thing. So this dude is jumping from the Moorish Science Temple. He put his fez somewhere, and as you can see, he's a clout chaser, and now he's all of a sudden clout chasing in ADOS. He's talking about Talib already. He was talking about other cats. He was talking about how you jump from Tommy Sotomayor, right? Kanye. He's always talking about somebody. Young Pharaoh. Who else he talking about? He's probably talking about Polite, right? Yep, we got Polite in here. He's talking about Sinetta. He's talking about, like, this dude is a classic clout chaser. Okay? And that's how he gets views, I guess. But he's a suspected agent to me, man, because he's been outed in the Moorish Science, temple community as someone who just didn't know what he was talking about, but always starting, problems and always starting arguments and, controversy for no reason. And so now he's all up in the ADOS conversation, right? He's trying to push that. But how do you, again, jump ideologically from the Moorish Science community, which talks about nationality a lot, okay? When you speak of ADOS, that is not a nationality. That is a counterfeit identity, all right? It's a label, all right? Black American descendants of slaves. That's a label. That's just counterfeit, and it's fraudulent, really. Okay? It's really fraudulent. So he should know better, of all peoples, to be out here banging for that. So that's why, I don't just suspect. I know he's a fraud. He might be a suspected agent. Maybe he could be working for these alphabet boys. I don't know. But there's no way you could jump from the Moorish Science Temple and then talk. Now you banging for ADOS? And now you're trying to talk about you want to go to the government for reparations? Whoa. And then when you hear him talk about Noble Drew Ali, he's always saying something real funny. And it's interesting. Let's go to this video where he was outed, right, by the Moorish Science Temple. As you can see, the title of this video is Lord Abba, Fraud Abba called, right? He called into a conference call and basically got exposed. But listen, it's curious to what he says. Listen to this, right? It's funny this came out of his mouth. I want everybody to hear this.
Into slavery. My question then becomes, why would Moors try to enforce a document that, if it was ever ratified, would essentially put those who have not proclaimed their nationality back into slavery under the hand or the iron grip of the pale-skinned European? AKA, why would somebody push a document that would put our people more back into slavery?
All right, let's go back and listen to this one more time, y'all. This dude says something so very interesting. I don't know if y'all heard it, but please listen to this. Please listen to what this clout chaser said, right?
If this is the case, if anybody has read the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, they'll see that it is in fact a pro-slavery document. So my question then becomes, because the prophet said if you're not careful, your own brothers will put you back into slavery. My question is,
you hear that? He said the prophet, when he says the prophet, he's referring to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right? Peace be upon him, right? He said your own brothers will bring you back into slavery. So what is the ADOS thing about? Huh? What isn't that some type of identity? Are you identifying yourself as some type of slave, or you've basically delineated your existence based off of that, right? ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, or slavery, right? Isn't that what we're talking about? So why is it he has this information, he has this knowledge, but he is out here? See, that's what I want our people to see. These types of contradictions, this type of hypocrisy, That's a red flag. All right? That's a red flag for our people to start, you know what I'm saying? Basically measuring these, like we're not dealing with these dudes. Don't deal with people with such glaring, right, contradictions and, you know, this type of hypocrisy, man. This is absurd. This dude basically out of his own mouth, you heard what he said, right? He says your own brothers and sisters will try to take you back into slavery. So he was talking about nationality and the Morris science type. When I studied their doctrine assiduously, I'm very familiar with what they talk about. There's no way, if you're coming from that ideological background, that you're not going to support ADOS, which, again, is a counterfeit identity. It's not even a nationality, really, right? If anything, they're claiming to be, what, 14th Amendment, right? Citizens, right? Which, again, this guy is arguing in that conference call that we should not even be involved in. So how can you push that? And yo, you are if this dude, Lord Abba, if you listening, man, listen, I just want you to understand. You are a joke and a clown, bro. All right, let me show you what you are. This is you. You are a clown. All right? And your track record, it's following you, bro. You cannot scrub it away. There's no way you could erase any of this stuff. We know who you are and what you're about. You're a fraud. You're an opportunist. You could be an agent with the Alphabet Boys, but you are not going to come here and try to push this on us. All right? This is a new day. All right? Y'all agents or whatever y'all frauds, opportunists, and hustlers, trust me, the same old games I used to run back whenever, it's not going to work now. Not in this age. You're going to get exposed as a clown and a fool. All right? You're not going to take down any more of our people, man. All right? You're not going to mislead or do any of that. And if anybody's watching this video, this is how you do it. You expose these dudes. I don't have to even go too far into these guys. You know what I'm saying? You got other cats that would dox, these type of dudes. Like the MAGA, they'll dox fraudulent dudes like that. To make sure they never show their face anywhere. But I'm not even going to go that far. It's about letting people know we're dealing with a lot of frauds and opportunists. Because this dude has no business coming out here in our face after the disgrace. All the stuff. I mean, look at what they said in the video about this dude. Look at the comment sections. Like brothers was going in on him. All right? Listen, brothers is like, yo, Abba got bodied. All right? He got bodied. Dudes was laughing. He's like, yo, he got killed. All right? All right? And they're like, yo, Abba, stop crying. Right? He was called Abracadabra, Abba-dabba-doo. Like, this dude literally got clowned. Right? Check out Fraud Abba doing the Porky Pig. This is what they're saying in the comment sections. Bro, we know you're a fraud. So that's why I know the ADOS whole thing is a scam. It's a scheme. It's a program. It's a psyop. Our people, we need to take our power back, right? We need to empower ourselves as opposed to joining in these little groups and following these clownish leaders, all right? We need to empower ourselves now. We need to become our own leaders. We have to learn how to track down information, all right? Because you have this dude, obviously, he's trying to get in there, you know what I'm saying, to do something. Now, there's a lot more going on with this ADOS thing, and I can't break everything down, but I wanted to first, show people right away what I could do. When you have knowledge, trust me, that's power in and of itself. And so, yeah, I just wanted people to see that. So let me play the clip one more time. And this came out of his own mouth, this Lord Fraud Abba dude. This came out of his own mouth. Out of his own mouth. Check it out. Let me make sure I get it right. Because I want everybody to hear this. All right, come on, play for me. Play.
If this is the case, if anybody has read the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, they'll see that it is in fact a pro-slavery document. So my question then becomes, because the prophet said if you're not careful, your own brothers will put you back into slavery. My question then becomes, why would Moors try to enforce a document that, if it was ever ratified, would essentially put those who have not proclaimed their nationality back into slavery?
So why are you now trying to put our brothers in a movement that's designed to, one, put them in a fake, counterfeit identity, basically, psychologically putting them back into slavery? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. It's a new day. You can't fool us like that, bro. You really can't. So I'm gonna really go in, with this series, right? There's a lot of videos and clips that I could show people, but I really want to get into, documents and sources. I could read these things on here, but I'm gonna get on into these other people's as well. I'm also gonna talk about the connection between MAGA and ADOS. All these clowns right here, and as you can see, Yvette Carnell over here with a MAGA hat on. So I'm gonna get into these cats, man. So the first one down is this Fraud Lord Abba, whatever. And if you are watching this, bro, don't even try to clap back. You dead. Forget it. You done.